How are you doing? And welcome to another weekly installment of Valet Stories. And this past week has been, let's just say, interesting and pretty insane. And when I finish explaining everything to you guys, you will completely understand why I started this channel. This past week, we started a new restaurant, and it is actually going pretty well. And once again, I was out there because I wanted to check and make sure everything went exactly the way I wanted it to be. We did this location, but not restaurant, but we did this location about 10 years ago. That restaurant has since gone out of business. A new restaurant picked it up, they went out of business, and this now new restaurant is back, and they are back at that same location. So we pretty much knew what to do, but my current crew was not pretty much aware since we hadn't been out there for over 10 years, so only 2 or 3 people had ever worked that lot before. So anyway, we worked this account last Friday, and I said, you know what, let me work it. It was actually a very hot, steamy, humid night, but it went really well for the most part. But let me explain the situation. This parking lot actually has 3 levels, so A, B, and C. And there's one way in, or actually one way you can go in and out this way. Then there's another entrance at the back of the lot. But what we did, we used one of our vehicles actually to block the back of that to block the back of that parking lot, so people have to come in and go out the other way. Another reason I like doing that is also for security. God forbid anybody steals a car, they can't go out the back way, so I thought. Anyway, let's get into the story. So we are working, and I think I have 4 guys plus myself. I'm just kind of watching and talking to people here and there, making sure everything goes smoothly. So I'm standing in a lot, and I'll explain it once again. We have about 5 parking spaces for to-go parking. So what that means is if people are coming in and they're getting food to go, we don't need to valet park them. We let them park up front because they're usually in and out within 5 minutes. So this truck comes in, I think it's a Toyota Tacoma, comes in, pulls in the space. He's like, I have to get to-go food. No problem, go inside. They come inside, go inside. As he comes out, he's backing out. And of course, I'm keeping an eye on everything that's going around. I see he's backing up kind of far, and he's backing up, and it looks like it's getting ready to hit one of our valeted vehicles. Sure enough, boom, he hits a valet vehicle. So I start walking towards the car. He starts moving forward. I tell him to stop. Please stop, because you just hit a vehicle. He's shaking his head no. I'm like, yes, you just hit a vehicle behind you. And I know he knew he hit it because I heard it. He would have felt the bump and everything like that. And it wasn't a stick shift, it was an automatic vehicle. So he gets out of the car, looks behind the car, and he's kind of shaking his head like, I don't see anything. And I had already seen that he hit it. So what I did, I reached inside of his car and pulled his key out of the ignition. He saw me do that and snatched the key back to me. He's like, give me my key. I said, sir, you just hit that car. He's like, I'm getting ready to park right here. So he starts the car up. What I do, I stand in front of his car because I have a feeling this guy's going to try to run. So I get in front of his car, he starts it up, and he starts moving forward on me. So I put my hands on the hood, and I'm like, stop. He's like, no, I'm just moving forward so we can get it out of the way. I'm like, sir, stop. And he keeps moving forward more and more and more, and he's pushing me maybe at this point 10 to 20 feet backwards as I'm walking. My stupid self is thinking, should I jump on this guy's hood? Because he's going to try to run. But I've seen way too many videos of idiots on the hoods of cars driving down a block because the other person is in fear of their life or something like that. So I'm like, don't jump. And I'm like, this guy, if he creeps forward anymore, I'm going to have to clear out of the way. So I yelled to one of the other valets, get the license plate number. So they're like, already we started getting the license plate number. And to my benefit, one of my new valets, brand new valets, his dad happened to be a accident attorney, so he knew automatically to start recording, and we have a recording of it. So as I'm backing up, I'm telling him, get the license plate, and as soon as he hears that, he rolls up the windows, locks the doors, and then stops and then backs up, because he already knows there's a back entrance out of this lot. So he goes out to the back entrance, and I think, okay, don't chase him because the truck is blocking him and he's not going to have anywhere to go. He gets to the bottom of the lot,
ran into one car,
jumps over the hill.
We got it. We got his license plate.
Gets out of the parking lot, goes up north, and then speeds off. We see the direction. So I call the police. I call the police and tell them, hey, this car was a hit and run, and he tried to move forward, and he ended up, I told him, hitting me, which is the wrong words. I shouldn't have told him that. So by doing so, they send out the fire department. I said, we don't need the fire department. They're like, it's protocol. Then all of a sudden, they send out the paramedics. Obviously, I don't need a paramedic, so I didn't get hurt, obviously, except my ego, because I was actually really pissed. And so about 4 minutes later, the fire truck comes screaming up in front of the restaurant. Remember, this is our first day. I'm like, oh my God, this is not the way we need to start this restaurant. So I don't even let them pull in the driveway. I kind of run out to the street so they don't even pull into the driveway. And I explained to them that I am perfectly fine. I explained someone had moved forward. I put my hands out and it didn't hurt me whatsoever. It was just shoving me for the most part. And they're like, are you sure? I'm like, yes. They had to get a supervisor to approve it, and they finally left. 2 seconds later, the paramedics show up. Same thing. People are out in front of the restaurant now watching, like, what in the world is going on out here? So I talk to them again, and they leave, of course, no problem. At this point, I'm waiting for the police officers, and it takes them probably another 15 minutes to get out there. Of course, they were probably involved with something else. As soon as I get out there, I explain to them what happened exactly, and they wanted to know if I jumped in front of the car or was I standing there already. And honestly, at that point, when he took the key out of my hand, started the car back up, before he started the car up, I moved myself in front of the car because I knew he was going to try to run. They didn't like that. I showed them the video, and they actually turned on their body cam and recorded it at the same time. Also, the restaurant has cameras up above, so it takes a little bit longer, but they can actually get the videos that way also. So while I'm talking to them, I give them the license plate number, and the guy lives relatively close, but is surprisingly in a different zone, so they can't respond. So they call their other, same department, but a different zone. They call them to go get the guy. The guy has just gotten to-go food, so you think, did he go home or did he go somewhere else? He was actually sitting at home with his family. So the other police officer from the different zone goes to his house, and they end up arresting him. This guy gets arrested for DUI because he's actually intoxicated. That's why he ran. In the world of DUIs or something like that, a lot of people who are drunk and they end up hitting other people's cars or property, they run a lot because they rather get a misdemeanor hit and run than a felony DUI. So a lot of times they run, and they know this already. And I've seen this over the years. This has happened for the past 20-something years. People will rather get a misdemeanor hit and run than a felony DUI. And a DUI costs so much more also. So they get him for a DUI. They get him for hit and run. But because he got in the car, started the car up, put it in drive, knowing and seeing me in front of him, they got him for aggravated assault too. So he did get arrested, and that is a felony. So he stayed overnight in jail, and honestly, I never heard anything more from it. The police officer ended up calling me after the fact just to confirm, and then also he wanted to speak to one of the other valets to be essentially a witness to what happened to this case. Now, do I advise anybody out there to stand in front of a car? No. Hell no. I was very stupid by stepping in front of that car. But at the same time, I was also being very protective because this car came in, or not this car, but the car that valet parked. It was simple. It was a Toyota Camry, but it was a brand new Camry. And the guy was like, hey, please keep my car up front. I want to keep it safe. Sir, no problem. We'll keep it up front. So he comes out later on. I'm like, sir, your car got hit. And he looked at me like crazy, but the police were still there at that point when we found him and we were able to talk to him. But I said, hey, sir, you told me to put it up front. He's like, I should have just let you park it in the back with the rest of the cars. But this is one of the things that happens. So he gets the police report. He's fine. As long as the other car's insurance information is on it, he'll be able to call the other person's insurance company, which was a Toyota Tacoma, and say, hey, your guy did a hit and run on my vehicle, and their insurance company will pay it of course, no problem at all. Obviously, the Toyota Camry owner also has all of our personal information. So I'm like, if you have any difficulties or anything like that, let me know. And then also he has just a general police report. So he won't have any problem getting the car fixed. And honestly, it's going to be less than $1,000. It's just one of those bumper hits where it caves in the front of the bumper. But my ego and anger got so bad, I wanted to get in front of this car. And while he was moving, I was almost going to jump on the hood. That's how infuriated I was. Do I advise this to anybody out there? No, don't you ever, ever, ever do that. And my valets looked at me and they're like, did you expect us to do that if you weren't here? I'm like, of course not. The number one thing, get a license plate number, and that's all we need. We can call the police and handle the rest of it. But do not ever get in front of a car and try to stop it from leaving. That is a stupid and dumb thing to do. So as I told you guys, these are the stories we tell. You guys wouldn't believe me if I didn't have video, but yes, this happened just last Friday, and these are the type of things that we deal with on a daily basis. So if you like that story, please click the like button. Let me know your thoughts on this. Would you have jumped in front of the car? And really, how stupid am I? Have a good day, and I'll talk to you guys later.